Thank you. Wow. What women's event would be complete without chocolate, right? So I'm going to tell you a little story about my sister and I when we were growing up. We used to take red licorice and bite both ends off and then drink our healthy milk through a red licorice straw. Then eat the red licorice. Seems like kind of an oxymoron to me, but that was the norm at our household because we ate so much candy. Our parents just didn't care. They'd give us money, we'd go to the store, buy as much candy as possible, eat it all the way home on a regular basis all throughout my entire childhood. Obviously, that caused some issues with sugar as I was growing up. And I started to gain weight in my teens, which is when I first got interested in nutrition. I used to read all the diet books, tried them all, ran studies on my body, took nutrition classes in college, kept reading, studying, got my nutrition educator certificate in my 30s, all the while struggling with this crazy sweet tooth. It just didn't make sense. After the birth of my second child, I was in my mid-30s trying to lose that baby weight. It was really hard, and I just got fed up. And I was like, you know what? I am going to stop eating all sugar for an entire year for my New Year's resolution, except on holidays. Because I figured that would be the only way that I could make it through. And I did actually make it through that first year. Interestingly, though, what happened was each holiday became a quest for the most amazing chocolate that I could find. Because I figured out on that first holiday, if you gorge on sugar all day long, you feel terrible. And so I ended up doing that project for 4 consecutive years. No other treats, just amazing chocolate on holidays. Now, right about the end of that time, I decided to leave my job in the sporting goods industry and pursue my dream, which was writing a book about nutrition, and the health benefits of chocolate news broke. And I was like, what? First red wine, now chocolate? No way. And I didn't believe it, and I think a lot of people didn't, and maybe still don't even now. So in my typical fashion, I was like, gonna do a bunch of research. I figured out that the news looked pretty good. However, people were hearing what they wanted to hear. And big media was out there pushing the same message, and that is, eat any old dark chocolate, and you'll have all these health benefits. But that's not how the research is being done. And if you want research results, you have to replicate what they're doing. I had been studying nutrition at this point for about 20 years. I just came off of this 4-year chocolate intensive. I kind of took this, I know, great, having a chocolate intensive. I took this as a message. I'm supposed to write my book about the health benefits of chocolate. And then just to make it interesting, I created a mission statement to change the chocolate-loving world as we know it, one convert at a time. Because most of the world's population still eats milk chocolate, which is fine if you want a treat, but if you want health benefits, you have to step up your game and eat dark chocolate. So I'm going to show you how chocolate's made from bean to bar, why it's rich in antioxidants, what those do for the body, how much to eat, and how to read labels according to the research, and then you can make your own decision whether or not you want to enjoy a little dark chocolate every day. I feel like some people have already made that decision. So this is the Theobroma cacao tree right here with the pods growing out of the trunk and out of the branches. It's very unusual. Only about 2% of the world's trees bear their fruit like this. And yes, it's a fruit. Good news. It's on the food chart. Going to be a lot easier than you thought. Now, the pods, when they come off the tree, look like this. There's about 20 to 40 cocoa beans in a cocoa pod, and it takes 2 to 3 of these to make one dark chocolate bar. That's how nutrient-dense the dark bar is, and this is how it happens. The pods get split in 2. You can see beans in a sweet pulp, and the whole mass gets scooped out and piled into heaps. The heat of the region causes that pulp to disintegrate. It runs away and leaves just the cocoa beans, 54% cocoa butter, and 46% cocoa solids. No sugar in these at all. It's just the seeds of this fruit tree. Now, the next step, the beans get roasted, and that cocoa butter expands. Everything's being tossed in this big blower. The shells get winnowed away, and the beans break into little pieces. These have vitamins, protein, fiber, minerals, healthy fats, and antioxidants. They're very nutrient-dense and very good for you. Now the nibs, next step, get rolled back and forth between the stone rollers. They turn into a thick chocolate soup. Oh my gosh, that looks so good on the big screen. Who's getting hungry for chocolate? This is called cocoa liquor. It's just pure cocoa butter and cocoa solids mashed together. This, by the way, is the #1 thing that you would want to look for on a chocolate bar if you're going to eat it for health. Something to do with the word chocolate. Because dark chocolate only has to be about 35% from the cacao tree to be called dark. So you have a lot of it out there with sugar as the #1 ingredient, but that's not what you're looking for. So let's take a moment to see what you would want to look for. First of all, about 70% dark chocolate or higher. That's usually listed on the outside of the bar. If it's not there, there's not enough cacao in there. Secondly, about 1 ounce per day, and this, by the way, is a 2-ounce bar. So about half of this bar, no more. It's about 6 squares at the most. Now for the ingredients, you would want to see cocoa liquor as #1 or something to do with the word chocolate. You'll generally see cocoa butter as #2. That's the only fat you want to see in it. That's a healthy fat from this fruit tree, the cacao tree. You'll see sugar or some other type of sweetener as the 3rd thing, but remember, if you have a 70% dark bar or higher, you don't have much sugar in it. Sunflower or soy lecithin is an emulsifier. It's a fat and it stabilizes chocolate. It's in most chocolate, although you can find it without. And then the last thing that you want to look for is vanilla, not vanillin, which is a chemical made to taste like vanilla that a lot of companies will use because vanilla is one of the most expensive crops in the world. So they're substituting in this vanilla, or the vanillin, to save money, but not only does that compromise the quality of the bar, it can also make it taste waxy. So you know how when you bite in and you're like, ooh, there's wax in here? It's just the artificial ingredients binding with the chocolate in a strange way. So keep your ingredient profile clean. No dyes, no preservatives, and nothing artificial. Now going back to the process, remember that delicious cocoa liquor rolling back and forth. As it rolls more, it separates into cocoa butter and solids. The butter is used in cosmetics as well as chocolate, and the solids get pressed into cakes and pulverized into cocoa powder. Now this is one of the richest antioxidant foods in the world because you've taken the seeds of this fruit tree and extracted all the liquids. You're left with the most nutrient-dense part of the plant as the base of chocolate. And all the health benefits are in the cocoa powder, which is why the darker you go, the healthier it is. Sorry, milk and white chocolate lovers. We are going to get you to the dark side. Now this is an antioxidant chart here. You can see cocoa powder, dark chocolate up at the tippy top of the list there. What are antioxidants and what do they even do for the body? I think that's the big question. They're very important because they neutralize a little molecule called a free radical that floats around in your bloodstream. It's lost an electron. It steals electrons from your healthy cells. This causes them to degenerate. Over time, they don't replicate properly, and over longer periods of time, they cause disease. Free radical damage is the root cause of all major illness because it's a breaking down of the body. Now, you have your own natural defense system built in to neutralize that process because part of living is creating these free radicals. Eating, breathing, metabolizing, that's all part of what's going on, and you have this defense system, but it's overwhelmed because we live in such a toxic society. We get what's called oxidative stress from many outside sources that aren't within our control. This causes excess free radical damage. The sun, pollution, drinking, smoking, medication, radiation. It's estimated that the body and the cells are receiving thousands of hits all day trying to break them down. Antioxidants, by the nature of their configuration, can donate one of their own electrons and neutralize that process. The more of these antioxidant-rich foods you eat, the healthier you are. The healthier your cells are, therefore the healthier your body is. Now, I'm 57 years old, and I eat most of the foods on this list on a regular basis. And I say most because you can't see it, but kale is on there, and I kind of don't eat kale. Sorry, kale. Sorry, kale. I've also eaten a little dark chocolate almost every day for the last 15 years because I know it's good for you. And I believe in this world when so many people are trying to slim down and lose weight, like I was, and stay on a healthy eating program, that it's important to get a little of something that you love every day as part of that process to help you stay on track, so you don't feel deprived. I never went back to eating all of those other sugary treats once I figured out I could enjoy a little dark chocolate every day and still maintain my weight. And trust me, I have a major sweet tooth still. I just manage it differently now. So I just call this news you can use, right? You can literally apply this before you walk out of this building today. Are you willing to join the program? If so, remember, you want to keep it 70% dark and higher, no more than 1 ounce per day. And one other quick thing I want to just mention about chocolate that wasn't in here is that it is absorbable because it melts at 94 degrees. So if you've eaten it too fast, and chances are pretty good that you have, once it gets into your system, it melts, so it's readily absorbed. So remember the mission statement: to change the chocolate-loving world as we know it, one convert at a time. Are you in? Thank you.